This video offers a brief introduction into the Affective-Reflective Theory of Physical Inactivity and Exercise. The ART was developed by Ralf Brand and Paddy Ekkekakis and published in the German Journal of Exercise and Sport Research in 2017. Imagine for a moment that you are sitting on the couch like John here, and you're relaxing after an unexpectedly long and stressful day at work. Your partner comes up to you and reminds you that you intended to go for a run with them this evening. How do you react? Psychologists have suggested that in this kind of situation, we go through a two-step mental process to come to our decision. The first is spontaneous thoughts and feelings, or your gut feelings associated with the thought of the behavior. The second is more careful thought regarding your possible actions. In our example, let us assume that John's initial spontaneous gut feelings prevail and that he remains sedentary. ART aims to explain and predict behavior in similar situations when people either remain in a state of physical inactivity or initiate action and start to exercise. According to the ART, explanations about behavior change or maintenance should specifically consider the exact moment at which the decision for behavior occurs. For example, like John, who was sitting on the couch when his wife appealed to him to carry out his original intention. We know that John's original intention was to go exercising. His desired state is to go running with his partner. We can assume that, for example, John firmly believed that he would be able to implement his intention this evening. Exercising regularly may be valuable for him. In fact, John's motivation to exercise was high. Thoughts and reflections like these can be summarized as driving forces. Driving forces drive the individual to change his or her present state. The stronger they are, the more likely that transition to the desired state will occur. That is behavior change. However, according to the ART, the strength of John's motivation for behavior change in exercise is likely only one piece of the explanation as to why John has failed to implement his intention. The other part is that restraining forces have prevented John from moving past his present state of physical inactivity. This is inspired by Kurt Levin's idea of force field analysis, which was introduced to psychology in the middle of the 20th century. The ART suggests that one's spontaneous affective response, or the pleasure and displeasure automatically associated with the behavior, can represent a restraining force. John's spontaneous associations with exercise were that it was previously difficult and exhausting. This uncontrollable affective response acts as a restraining force and, in this situation, prevents behavior change. Remember, although often important, it is not always the motivational processes which drive people to action toward a desired goal. Restraining forces, especially one's spontaneous affective response to the thought of exercise, may be similarly strong and prevent behavior change. The ART focuses on the very moment at which an exercise-related stimulus occurs. In our case, this stimulus was John's wife, who reminded him that he had planned to go running. Exercise-related stimuli trigger automatic associations, which are based on encoded affect and cognitions. Incidentally, every activation of an association leaves a trace in memory. Automatic associations give rise to what has been termed the automatic affective valuation. Affective valuation is defined as spontaneously assigning to a stimulus a positive or a negative value. In our example, John immediately remembered, and perhaps even vividly re-experienced, the feelings of exhaustion connected with previous exercise. This unpleasant state, and the action impulse that was encoded with it, is the reason why John is reluctant to change his present state of inactivity. This is the ART's Type 1 process, and automatic affective valuation is the core concept within this process. Importantly, exercise produces not only a physical or somatic stimuli, but also affective social stimuli. Therefore, automatic affective valuations can apply to both previous experiences of bodily discomfort and, for example, embarrassing memories during physical education. After initial affective valuation, ART postulates that Type 2 processes may occur. This is what makes the ART a default-interventionist model, in which the automatic affective valuation gives the default value for subsequent reflective evaluation. This evaluation includes all forms of controlled reflection. Type 2 processes can result in action plans. For example, John remembers his intention to go for a run with his partner this evening. He thinks that self-discipline is important, and he remembers his doctor's advice to exercise regularly. As a result, John might decide that it is better to stand up and go exercising, despite his initial negative affective valuation and his reluctance to do so. Action plans and the action impulse can be concordant. In this case, predictions for behavior are straightforward. Behavior change happens when both the action impulse and the action plans drive the individual to change his or her behavior. Behavior will not change when both the action impulse and the action plans restrain the individual from changing their present state. Of course, the action impulse and action plan can be discrepant. In this case, the ART assigns a major role to the construct of self-control. According to the ART, the availability of self-control resources is a necessary condition for reflective type 2 processing. If, and only if, self-control resources are available, type 2 processes are likely to influence behavior. So, the ART of physical inactivity and exercise predicts that when there is an affective-reflective discrepancy and self-control resources are high, behavior is more likely to be influenced by type 2 processes. On the other hand, when self-control resources are low or depleted, such as when a person is tired or stressed, ART predicts that type 1 processes are more likely to influence behavior. That is, the probability increases that the individual will follow his or her automatic impulses. So the question is, does John have enough self-control resources to alter his initial action impulse? Will the forces that can drive him to action be stronger than his automatic affect evaluation and its restraining force? Okay, so let's summarize the main points about ART. It is a dual process theory. It focuses on the role of affect and automaticity. It is grounded in exercise psychological theory and is explicitly connected to what we know about the pleasant and unpleasant experiences that occur during exercise. And last but not least, it offers a novel explanation of the potential factors that influence physical inactivity. According to ART, an individual who has a positive affective reaction to the thought of exercise will experience no restraining forces when controlled reflections and action plans are also directed toward exercising. On the other hand, a negative automatic affective association with exercise will drive the physically inactive person to maintain his or her current avoidant behavior. In that case, self-regulatory resources need to be engaged to tip the behavioral balance toward controlled processes and initiate a change in behavior. Ralf Brand and Paddy Ekkekakis authorized this short video clip. It was produced by Antonina Tcymbal during a 2018 internship at Ralf Brand's lab at the University of Potsdam. Matt Ladwig, who is a doctoral student with Paddy Ekkekakis at Iowa State University, narrated this video.